The European Union is made up of 27 member states, all with different economies, cultures, and ideologies. It's only natural that some would end up disagreeing. In fact, shouting matches in the parliament are pretty much par for the course at this point.
I have the right to speak. I was voted by Romanians. And you killed people in Romania.
Excuse me, no, excuse me, you don't have the right.
This is the...
It's fair to say, though, that some member states have caused a few more controversies than others, though. So let's take a look at some of the more unruly members, the black sheep of the EU. In July, the European Commission released the 2024 Rule of Law report. It's a big report that measures how well each member state's government does in three key areas. Justice, which includes how free judges are to make decisions without pressure from outside sources, like the government. Anti-corruption, which looks at how well the country's framework stops corrupt individuals and organizations. Media pluralism and freedom, which sees if there are multiple press outlets working in the country, and if they're allowed to say what they want. The report includes recommendations for how each country could do better. Ireland, for example, has been told it should reduce legal fees to make lawyers more accessible to everyone, while Belgium should make more progress in strengthening its integrity framework. But in terms of these three categories, there are a few member states in particular that received very firm slaps on the wrist. Let's start with Slovakia, which has been making headlines ever since Robert Fico, from the left-wing popular Smer party, became prime minister in October last year. Slovakia's justice system is now looking more like a sinking ship in the eyes of its citizens. Confidence has plummeted, with most people believing the system is anything but independent. In fact, Slovakia is now rubbing shoulders with Croatia, Poland, and Bulgaria at the bottom of the barrel, while the Scandinavians are at the top, with very high trust in the independence of the judiciary. When it comes to corruption, things get even spicier. The EU has been raising eyebrows at Fico's government, especially after it shut down the Special Prosecutor's Office. This office wasn't just any old bureaucracy. It was responsible for tackling corruption and serious crimes, including the murky misuse of EU funds. And guess what? A bunch of those high-profile convictions were tied to Fico's Smer party back when he was prime minister before. And then there's the saga of media freedom in Slovakia. Shortly after taking power, the Slovak government cut off 4 domestic outlets, calling them hostile and not objective. Meanwhile, they seem cozy with pro-Russian media outlets, like Hlavne Správy, and I'm sorry for the mispronunciation, who happily broadcast Kremlin-friendly content. The rule of law didn't hold back with their list of recommendations either. As you can see, the report shows that the government has made basically no progress in any of the key categories of building a state accountable to its citizenry. Not good. And let's not forget that Slovakia is showing increased resistance to support for Ukraine, which will likely clash with the EU's position in the coming months. Also, remember this bit of theatre in the European Parliament back in April? Yes, this Slovakian MEP actually released a dove in the European Parliament. Who said EU politics is anything but fun? Anyway, in the eyes of the EU report, that was black sheep number 1. So, who's next? Well, here's one that might catch you off guard. Italy. Yup, Italy is one of the founding members of the European Union, and not exactly the usual suspect when it comes to causing trouble in the EU. But in recent years, particularly under the leadership of Giorgia Meloni, things have taken a turn, especially in the realm of media freedom. Just take a look at the latest Press Freedom Index. Italy is ranked much lower than you'd expect for a country with such a rich democratic tradition. Meanwhile, our ever-consistent Scandinavian friends are once again topping the charts, setting the gold standard for press freedom. So why are they ranking so low? Well, since Meloni took the reins, there have been a string of high-profile incidents that has watchdogs sounding the alarm. Last June, for example, Meloni asked President Mattarella to step in after undercover reporters from Fanpage caught her party's youth wing making some shockingly racist and fascist comments. Instead of tackling the issue, Meloni blasted Fanpage for using regime methods to single out her party. Fanpage, meanwhile, stood by its journalistic integrity, defending its methods. But the drama doesn't stop there. Just a month earlier, journalists at RAI, Italy's national public broadcaster, went on strike, accusing the government of trying to turn RAI into its own personal mouthpiece, describing it as suffocating control. Meloni's crackdown on defamation is also making the waves. Roberto Saviano, an author known for exposing the mafia, called her a bastard over her anti-immigration stance and faced a defamation suit. Laura Boldrini, former president of the Chamber of Deputies, wasn't spared either, after calling Meloni a small woman. Both were found guilty, sparking concerns that defamation laws are being used to silence critics. The Rule of Law report is brimming with recommendations for Italy, but don't hold your breath. Meloni has already fired back, accusing left-leaning Italian newspapers of twisting and influencing the Commission's report. Therefore, it is unclear anything will change, and Italy is our black sheep number 2. Some of you may be thinking about Poland and all the trouble caused by the PiS government. Well, surprisingly, the report gives Poland a thumbs up, stating that Donald Tusk's team has made great progress in reversing a lot of the more troubling policies of the previous administration. Still, it does say that there's work to be done. Finally, we have the one you all knew was coming: Hungary. It's hard to open a news page these days without seeing some articles about how Prime Minister Viktor Orban is using his veto to stop funds to Ukraine. When we look at the 3 categories where countries are assessed in the Rule of Law report, Hungary has issues on all 3 fronts. But where Hungary really hits rock bottom is the corruption department. Just check out the latest corruption index from transparency.org. Hungary is dead last at number 27, even trailing behind Bulgaria and Romania. Meanwhile, the Scandinavians are once again sitting pretty at the top. Yawn. Are they ever going to give someone else a chance? Budapest has been on the Commission's radar for years over corruption and democratic backsliding in many areas, which prompted the EU to withhold more than 30 billion euros in cohesion and recovery funds. The blocking of funds was used, unofficially, to pressure Budapest, something Prime Minister Viktor Orban described as financial blackmail. Has it worked though? No, not really. The report lists out all the areas where improvements could have been made, and no progress whatsoever has been made in any category. What a mess. Hungary under Orban has been a real headache for EU officials in other areas too. It is constantly feuding with other member states. It sneakily uses its national veto to curry favors. And its peace mission to Ukraine, Russia, China, and the US, without checking things with the EU, have not helped either. Orban also co-founded the Patriots for Europe political party in the European Parliament, alongside Marine Le Pen from France's far right. They are the 3rd biggest faction in the EU Parliament and are very EU skeptical, and will surely be a thorn in the EU side for years to come. Therefore, it's pretty clear that Hungary has cemented itself as the blackest of the black sheep in the Union. But what do you think? Is the EU being too harsh on Hungary? Is there another member state you think is causing trouble that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe and like the video. And if you want to support us further, please also consider signing up to the channel on Patreon. See you in the next video.